Leadership development is a $300 billion industry, but most companies don't see any tangible result from investing in leadership training. So is this all just some massive grift by leadership coaches, consultants, and speakers? Well, it's complicated. First, let's clarify the difference between training and development, at least for how we're going to use them today. Leadership training is when a company hires someone like me, or John Gordon, or Jocko Willink to come and either do a speech or a workshop or a seminar of some type to teach their team a new way of thinking and working that will help them develop communication and other similar skills. Leadership development is more of the hands-on, off-the-cuff coaching that is done day to day in an organization. Leadership development is often pretty effective. It's just mentorship. Leadership training, on the other hand, often leads to a huge boost in motivation, productivity, and enthusiasm for a while, but often doesn't lead to any long-term change. After a month or two, people just go back to the way they always did things. So why doesn't it work? Well, it isn't that leadership trainers are trying to scam you, or even that they don't have anything good to say. There are three big problems. First, leadership is super vague. Like, what is leadership? Really, it's an incredibly nebulous term that refers to hundreds of different soft skills, behaviors, and industries. It's communication. It's empathy, it's mentorship. You can shoehorn almost anything under the incredibly broad leadership umbrella, which is why 80% of people consider themselves above average leaders, which, fun fact, is not how averages work. So you can create some kind of course or program, slap the leadership label on it, and boom, what do you know, it's part of a $300 billion industry. And as a customer, you don't even really know what you're getting. So of course, any industry that has a barrier to entry that questionable is sure to have some scammers and grifters. But even if you make sure you get one of the good trainers, you still have the next issue, which is that single experiences rarely change behavior. To make something a habit, you have to do it over and over and over again. Hearing someone talk about a principle isn't enough to make it a part of your life, especially since no leadership principles are actually new. Most of the stuff that leadership trainers talk about aren't really revolutionary concepts. It's not like the audience is sitting there like, oh, communication! Why didn't I think of that? Or, shoot, I wish someone had mentioned that lying was bad for building trust in my team. People know these things already. The struggle is in recognizing situations where those principles are needed and then remembering to actually use them, which is why any good leadership training is going to focus a lot on stories and implementation. The stories are important because they stick in our head. We like stories. That's one reason that I use famous people in my How to Be a Good Leader videos, and why channels like Charisma on Command use celebrities to illustrate the principles they're teaching. We need stories so that the lessons will stick in our heads. Then the implementation is important because it's the only thing that really matters. Your fun stories and cool ideas are completely useless if nobody ever actually does anything with them. But if you have memorable stories and good steps for implementation, you can actually get some great results from leadership training. Unless you run into our third big problem, which are organizational barriers. And this is the real issue. Even with all the training, development, programs, team building exercises, initiatives, or any other combination of corporate jargon buzzwords, people aren't going to change if the organization doesn't change. For example, I have this cool training about decision making and how certain techniques can help you free up your time while still making the best decisions. If you come to that training, you hopefully leave really excited to have less stress and more time, and then you go back to work. And you still have policies in place that require every decision to go through a bunch of bureaucratic red tape, so you never even get to use the cool stuff, and you lose your enthusiasm, and nothing changes. Organizations waste tons of money throwing training at their employees thinking that it'll fix their problems. But often the employees aren't the problem, or at least not most of it. If the organization itself doesn't have a plan so that the employees can actually use the skills that they get trained in, then it's all just a giant money pit. Though, it is a money pit that boosts motivation and productivity for a couple months, so at least there's that. At this point, longtime fans of the channel aren't going to be surprised that the answer to the question, is leadership training a scam, is sometimes. My answer is basically always sometimes. There are definitely scammy leadership gurus, but the bigger problem is organizations that pay good money for good training and then don't do anything with it, which is bad. Hey, I tried not to be too self-promotional in this video, but I obviously do a lot of leadership and ethics and ethical leadership trainings. And I also have a book about it, which you can buy. There will be links and descriptions to all of my various stuff, and now the self-promotional part is over. Now, get out there and make the world a better place.